I'm very happy to introduce my colleague, Professor Avik Bhattacharya, and hearty congratulations for the award. So, Professor Bhattacharya received the integrated MSc degree in mathematics from IIT Kanpur, and then he went on to do his PhD from INRIA, France. So, he's currently professor at CSRE, and then he's also the head of the microwave remote sensing lab. So before joining IIT Bombay, he had a career with the Canadian government in their space agency. So he was a government research fellow at the Canadian Centre for Remote Sensing, CCRS, in Ottawa, Canada. So he received the prestigious Natural Science and Engineering Research Council of Canada Visiting Scientist Fellowship at the Canadian National Laboratories from 2008 to 2011. So his current research interests are SAR polarimetry theory, statistical analysis of polarimetric SAR images, and applications of radar remote sensing in agriculture, the cryosphere, urban and planetary studies. So to his credit, Dr. Bhattacharya is also doing a lot of service. Good afternoon, everybody. Community. He is currently the editor-in-chief of IEEE Geoscience and Remote Sensing Letters. He is also an associate editor of the Journal of Remote Sensing, a science partner journal. So in 2017, the IEEE GRSS chapter of IGRS was formed at Bombay. So he is the first founding chairman of the IEEE GRSS chapter. So he is also an editor of many special issues of IEEE GRSS journals and also publication chair at several IEEE related conferences. Recently, he served as the scientific committee member of the European Space Agency's Pollen-SAR workshop. He has also been a member of the International Steering Committee and the International Advisory Committee member of Asia Pacific Conference on Synthetic Aperture Radar. And I think he also received the Best Paper Award very recently in this conference. Congratulations. So he served as the General Chair for the International Conference on Machine Intelligence for Geoanalytics and Remote Sensing 2023, and currently is the General Chair of the IEEE Indian Geoscience and Remote Sensing Symposium, IGARS. So congratulate you again.
This talk will be for radar remote sensing for agricultural application. So I'll be very briefly talking about, not going into the more details about it, but talking about how radar remote sensing is useful for agricultural applications. But just that to give an overview of all my colleagues over here who are not from the field, to give a general overview of what I'm doing and of course doing with my lab at MRS lab at CSRE. So what we are doing is we are utilizing, of course, electromagnetic spectrum. That's what we do for all remote sensing applications. So we are either in the optical domain or in the longer wavelength domain in the microwave. And this is where I specializes, and this is where we work in this domain and utilize these bands, which is, you can see, centimeter scale of wavelength, in order to look into the Earth's surface. Of course, we can do it for planetary, but in this talk, I will be talking about the Earth's surface, so the Earth observation, utilizing microwave domain information. So as you can see, you can utilize this number of bands with getting from 1 centimeter going up to around 100 centimeter of wavelength. So in remote sensing, this is just in a nutshell. Remote sensing, we have imaging sensor, but we also have non-imaging sensor. So here we are in radar imaging sensor. So it's active sensor, so it's imaging and an active sensor. So this is all in a nutshell about remote sensing sensor. This is where we are. So this is how typically you have a sensor. This is a synthetic aperture radar imaging satellite. This is the Sentinel-1 satellite from the European Space Agency, and this is how we can see an animation showing how you capture those images. This is in three swaths. This takes an image, but there are different modalities for different kind of sensor across the globe and across space agencies which take these images. So what do I do over here is radar polarimetry. So So polarimetry as a term suggests that we are actually measuring the polarization information. So electromagnetic spectrum, the intrinsic property of electromagnetic wave is one polarization, and that's exactly what we are measuring over here. So these sensors are active sensor. They send waves, electromagnetic waves in a particular polarization, and upon scattering, what we measure back again in a certain polarization is what is our measurement is. From that, what do I do? My work is mostly on theoretical advancements regarding what we call as wave scattering descriptors and targets and so on. And mainly over here are different indices which are very useful for different applications. But over here, I'll be only concentrating on vegetation only, but it can be done for other land cover types which are urban and so on. So this is the theoretical development, but we also work on many applications for geophysical, biophysical parameter estimation, and also classification and regression problem. Also deal with some scattering physics utilizing AI, so it is scattering physics based AI. So this is all in nutshell what we do at our lab, and different students, and they are all specializing in different aspects of it. But then the whole thing is about radar polarimetry. So why do we do so? So this is an optical image. So as I mentioned in my first slide, so you are utilizing shorter wavelength for imaging purposes. This is coming from an optical sensor. This is over a region in the southern part of India. This is in Vijayawada. You can see this is what we have a cloud cover during the monsoon season, and you can sometimes rarely see the ground because of cloud covers. It doesn't mean that optical sensors are not useful. They are extremely useful. Of course, at times at this region and at certain point of time, you have these clouds which you need to take care of. So if you see an example over here, just in comparison over here, an image which is a synthetic aperture radar image over here, and this is an optical image over here, you can see that the difference is that an image taken at the same time, and you can see this is cloud, and this is in the advent of the southwest monsoon. This is in terms around October, possibly. This is, you can see, or September around, so you can see this is a clouded image over here. In the optical image over here, you can see this is cloud free because we use a longer wavelength. So again, another aspect what we are utilizing, as I mentioned, so you are utilizing the electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic wave, but what specifically we are utilizing is the polarization aspect of the electromagnetic spectrum. So this is what is the main characteristics of our study, is that we are utilizing the polarization information of waves. In doing so, I'll just talk about two different modalities of how the imaging is formed. So in one imaging, you have a system where you transmit one polarization, you receive the one which is in the same polarization, the other one is just a cross of that, so orthogonal to it. This is one type of an imaging system. And if you see the image you can form out of it is a pair of image. Either you form this pair, the one in the red box over here, this is the pair you form, or you get this image in the other pair form, which is in the dotted green box. So this is only a pair of images you get. One which is called as a co-pole image, because this is co, H over here, or a VV, and over here in between you have a cross. So this is one type of modality. This is called a dual pole modality. Or you can move into another one which is called the full pole modality. Here you have four information over here. You send the same polarization, receive the one or the cross of it. So in order, you have over here as each pixel now is a measurement of a 2x2 complex. These are all coherent systems, so you measure the amplitude and the phase, and hence all of them are complex quantity. This is over here as a 2x. So one pixel characterized by a 2x2 complex number. Over here, one pixel is characterized by a 2x1 complex vector over here. So this is just a difference. But here you can see you have almost half the information as you have over here. So this is how the different modalities are. There are other modalities also, but I'm not going to detail of those modalities over here. So these are the two modalities in which we image our scene. Now, just to quickly go into the mathematics of it, but not completely, just to say, how do you represent the data? Once you have those measurements, so you have formed the image, each image will have now pixel, as you have all seen images. Here also the same thing, images will have pixel, But these pixels have a difference. So if you have information which is a coherent information, you are measuring for coherent targets kind of thing, then the measurement is one pixel is a measurement of a 2x2 complex number. This is the standard, the first order information which you have. But then this is useful for measuring targets. But if you are in a natural area where you have homogeneous mixture and so on, this may not be the right approach. So what we do, we move from here and do certain kind of steps in between, and we get something which is for an incoherent case and an average quantity. So now you average those pixels in a proper way. There's a way to do that. But this is the first order information, this is the second order information. So instead of finding out coherent target over here, we use incoherent target. Why I'm showing over here? Because this is the starting point, the basis of doing all other kind of research and all other analysis which starts from here. Now, what do we see for agriculture thing? Let us try to see an image, which is a temporal variation of the intensity which you get back, backscatter information, but just that to put them into color, I have put them in different dates. So different dates for a particular, again, polarizations. And for different types of crop which are in March. So what we see over here in a nutshell is that different polarization information characterizes different types of crops in a different ways. And hence, polarization, backscatter information in terms of different polarization plays an important role. So that's the role. So we go into the crop research classification. What is the research component? We do it in SAR agriculture. We are into doing crop phenology, temporal, soil moisture, and crop classification. So we have defined many different kind of indices, which are vegetation indices. One is characterizing for the generalized model. So basically everything characterizes randomness. The basic idea is, how do I characterize randomness? Randomness, when I have SAR data, which is full polarimetric, I have data which is in a different modality in compact. I do it for what we have it for a dual pole case and in different dual pole characteristics. So all of them characterizes different. So this also shows the amount of randomness changes different for different time period over different crop types. So that tells us that this is what we have developed. This is very new in the field, and this characterizes the temporal variations of all these different kinds of crop characteristics over different time. Same thing over here, this is the area of Vijayawada. You can see this is a rice grown area, and as you can see, as the propagation or the phenological changes of rice happens, this actually well characterizes, which was not possible with the one before. So I have to stop. So the same thing, all of this, what we have done is available in the ESA, the European Space Agency software, and this is now available for all users. This is also, we can do it for different application in soil moisture. And since I do not have more time, I will just go back. So I'll just go quickly to find out that this is all other methodologies which we have developed for different characteristics of crop. Again, the same thing over here for rice analysis. You can see different changes of information utilizing, again, one certain aspect of the dual pole. So all of them are now available in open source, all of them, because we believe in. So this is the book which tells you about everything. This characterizes all the aspects I have talked about over here, and this is given in different chapters over there. All of this which I have talked about are all available. We believe in reproducibility and replicability of research. All of them are freely available for users to download and work on this. Thank you very much.